Oh.
So good afternoon. Today is the 5th of August and Mr. Coleman and I have been out in his Mark II Granada doing our bit for the economy, eating out to help out, and we're just driving through Chandlersford, which is near Eastleigh, and Mr. Coleman's been giving me a bit of driving lesson today because last time I drove for Granada, which was over a year ago, he said that I don't drive very smoothly because I'm used to driving cars which have dual mass flywheels in them, and it means that basically you don't need to be a very smooth driver to operate the clutch and gearbox in one of those. Now that's true, most of the cars I drive are very modern cars actually. The car that we have, which is an older car, is an automatic, so that doesn't really work very well. And so he's been saying today if I can actually drive the car properly using a single mass flywheel. And so what I have to do is be very smooth with all my gear changing.
That's correct.
Oh, that wasn't very good. There we go. I'm getting better at easing up off the clutch properly and not just letting the car do it for you, which is what you do in a car with a dual mass flywheel. Dual mass flywheels are in everything these days. Definitely my Seat Toledo had one. Definitely our Sanion's got one. But I have driven other cars with single mass flywheels. Cars like the MX-5 that I drove last year, that's got a single mass flywheel. The MG3, we're not sure, we think that might actually have one as well. But with this, you have to be very careful when pushing the clutch up and down. It is quite a long travel on this car. You don't have to push it all the way right down to the floor, which if you do that, that actually means you're a bit like Inspector Gadget with Go-Go Gadget legs. But you do have to be a bit careful. The main reason for that in this car is because it's got what's known as a donut coupling on the propeller shaft, and it's quite easy on a car like this, particularly one with a limited slip differential like this car has, to wear that out. And we think that this is worn out prematurely on this car, primarily because I wasn't driving it very well last time that I drove it.
So you were driving it like a tank.
I was indeed. So we're trying to drive it a bit more smoothly, so you doesn't have to replace that donut coupling. Eventually, of course, that will be replaced with what's called a universal joint system. But now we're coming up to a roundabout, and so I need to go down a gear.
There you go.
Nice and smooth, there we go. That's me taking the place of a dual mass flywheel there. Type 9 gearbox in this car, which was a factory option. It wasn't the standard one you got with a 2.8 Gear X Granada like this. Was a very rare option to see, and these days the gearbox is worth an awful lot of money as well, so you really don't want to ruin it. That wasn't a particularly good gear change actually.
Yeah, just go steady, putting your foot down on the clutch, and make sure your foot's completely off the throttle when you're doing that.
Like that?
Yeah, that's it.
Even though we got uphill, that was not a good time to change, but we're still going to go up.
It's fine, I'll take it in third.
Here we go, and then again.
There you go.
And the handbrake in this car as well is a bit different from most handbrakes. There's just basically one position when you pull it up, like a Capri or something like that. So it does take a while to get your head around what you're doing with a clutch that's got such long travel on it, and also the gearbox having quite a long throw. And my party piece in this car is not being able to put it in reverse. It seems to be what I do quite well. Right, so
foot down on the clutch, and let your foot off throttle.
Like that.
There you go.
Yeah, so you can't slur the changes. There we are. That's all right. You can't slur the changes. You can't just leave your foot half on the throttle. It doesn't work like that. You're just going to be very gentle. Probably most of you watching this will be absolutely kind of second nature to you. You will sort of laugh at the fact that I can't drive properly. Mr. Coleman, in addition to being an excellent mechanic, is also are driving instructors for virtually every type of vehicle that you could possibly imagine. We've got Euro trucks, got lorries, articulated lorries, got skip trucks, anything really. So he's the perfect person to be able to be patient with me, particularly as this car is rapidly appreciating in value and I don't want to damage it. So again, nice and smoothly, come off like that. There we go.
That's it.
I actually use the handbrake at traffic lights, unlike most people these days. It would seem we don't bother anymore. You do get a little bit of vibration coming through. This is actually not an original gearbox for this car. This is a gearbox out of a Ford P100 diesel.
Yeah.
But it is still compatible, and it has got slightly higher fifth gear, which makes it better for motorway cruising. One thing I've realised about old cars always, whenever I drive them, the E-Type I drove is the same, is you just can't rush the gear changes in them. They just don't like it. And it won't reward your bad driving. It won't sort of paper it over. You've got to be deliberate.
What?
Oops, sorry.
There you go.
There you go, you don't do that. That's better.
That's it.
For some reason, the most difficult one I find is first to second. That's the most difficult one I find. The rest of them are a bit easier. First to second is the one I find the most difficult.
And what you want to be doing is you want to be letting your foot off the throttle at the same time as you're pushing the clutch down to avoid the jerky movements.
That's the ideal situation, isn't it, sir?
Yeah.
So hopefully that van might pull out in front of me as well. It'd be better. Though one of the things about driving a Granada is the brakes are actually really, really good for a car of this age. The discs all round on this car.
Drums on the back.
The discs at the front, drums on the back. Is it a Girling system on this car?
Yeah.
It's a Girling system on it, and it's very, very good.
That's it.
Into second, then smooth. There we go. I am my own dual mass flywheel if I do that. I feel like I'm on a test or something.
You are.
I am. I've been tested by Mr. Coleman for my terrible driving. Right, here we go. Let's see if I can do this a bit better next time.
Okay.
There we go.
So you're getting there.
A little bit better. That's what I find the most difficult. So these traffic lights, which is ideal for me to be tested, but a bit of a lesser pain from general driving. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
And up. There we go.
Decent stop.
A little bit sharper than I would have wanted actually, that one, but it's okay. One thing I had to remember is the travel is very long on this car for the clutch, but you don't have to push it all the way down. Initially when I drove it I felt I had to do that, but you don't have to do it. It's just like that. It's like putting your foot down a manhole. It's just the classic quote from the old review we did. It is consistently one of the most popular reviews on the channel actually. I'm not really surprised. Right, let's see if I can do this better this time.
No.
No. I still can't do it for some reason. I've probably got one more chance to get that better. Go down, try that, that would probably be a bit easier. That's fine. Right, I've got another chance coming up here, see if I can do this better this time. So I don't need to stop this time entirely.
Just remember, take your foot off the throttle whilst you're pushing the clutch down, but speed up whilst you're doing it. There you go.
That's it. That's it, much better, viewers. It's better now.
Okay, put it into third, be quick.
That better?
Yeah, get in there.
Right. There's one thing I better make sure, because you've got a different gearbox in this car from standard, the speedo does underread a little bit, so I have to be very careful and not going too fast.
That's going to be corrected soon, because I'm actually going to put the car's original gearbox back in it, because the car doesn't get used much anymore since it's been restored, because I used to use this car quite a lot, and the reason why I did put the diesel gearbox in it was makes it more acceptable to use on the motorway, because at 70-75 miles an hour the engine's only doing 2,200 revs with that gearbox in it. But now that it's back to standard, I want to put my original gearbox back in it.
Oh, someone's doing some crazy driving. Right, we're up, and now I'm back into first, which for our purposes is probably very good. And again, the brakes, very good in this car. Must have seemed exceptional to the era. My Dolomite also had... Still not very good at that. If I lift off, there we go. I have to wait again. Right, I've probably got one more chance of getting this right. Interesting Saber. Okay, so let's try this again. If I... Yes! Yes!
Get in there.
I actually did it. There we are. It does take an awful lot of getting used to, because you just can't be as kind of rough and inaccurate as you are with a modern car. You just can't do that. And the last thing we'll do is I will show you that I've improved my reversing, because in the original video you don't see this, but I found it really, really hard to get this car into reverse. And I'm the only person apparently who's driven one of these who actually has a problem with getting it into reverse. On the take that we used, I actually nailed it first time.
There we go.
So we're going to now do a bit of reversing. I should be able to do this properly. Power steering, so no problem really in that respect. So what we do now is we push the gear lever like this.
That's it.
Nice and quickly. We're actually in reverse now. Don't need any reversing cameras or parking sensors of this car. The glass area is very good. And I might even do, if I'm very lucky, might even do Mr. Coleman's reversing method, but actually managing without that. There we are, that's what you're supposed to do. And there we are, viewers.
You're sweating.
I'm sweating because of my concentration. So please don't forget to subscribe to the Road Mechanic channel for lots more videos on this Granada.
That's me, by the way.
I know that actually on his channel, this car is really popular. It's also very popular on mine. So don't forget to like this video, leave a comment below. I know my driving is not very good. If you just tell me I'm a bad driver, then I already know that, so you don't need to say that. Obviously Mr. Coleman's very patient with me and lets me drive this, even though, you know, it's not the cheapest car around and there's very few of these left. So yes, I'm very grateful once again to be able to do this. This afternoon Mr. Coleman's going to be driving some of my stuff, which one's an automatic, one's got dual mass flywheel, so it'll be a bit easier for him. But yes, don't forget to subscribe to Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. I've already done so. I'm sure we'll have some more interesting stuff for you to look at very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.